The Machine Against Life. Goethe, Ellul, Spengler, Nietzsche, Merlio, and the Fate of Technics. 1. The Rise of Technics and the Eclipse of Meaning. At the core of modernity is a dreadful substitution. Life is abandoned for operation, beauty is sacrificed for efficiency, and becoming is replaced by maintenance. Jacques Ellul recognized the autonomous force of technics, the relentless tendency of technique to evolve for its own sake, independent of human needs, ethics, or wisdom. Every technique, once discovered, demands to be used, adapted, and improved. Society bends to the demands of the machine. The machine does not serve society. Efficiency becomes the supreme, unquestioned value. Nothing escapes its judgment. In this grim inversion, Goethe, the last true seer of organic form, stands as a luminous contrast. In Goethe's world, nature is not mechanical but rhythmic, polar, living. The form of the plant, the unfolding of the leaf, the dance of light and darkness, all follow laws of becoming, not of maximization. Life is wasteful, beautiful, rhythmic. Goethe's "everything is leaf" is not a mechanical formula, but an insight into the dynamic unity and transformation of living being. Technics, as Ellul saw, drives humanity away from this participatory rhythm. Science, as Gilbert Merlio emphasized, follows technics. It rationalizes what was already stumbled into through tinkering, accident, and necessity. Science does not lead. It patches, formalizes, justifies after the fact. The miracle precedes the myth. Second Spengler and the death phase, civilization as embalmed culture. Oswald Spengler mapped the long arc of cultures, from their organic youth to their mechanical dying phase. In every great culture, Egyptian, Indian, Chinese, classical, Western, there comes a time when the inner soul is exhausted, when the creative myth fades, when life hardens into systems. Culture gives birth to art, to myth, to sacred form. Civilization gives birth to technique, to calculation, to bureaucratic sterility. In Spengler's terms, we are no longer a culture. We are a civilization. Our great art is dead. Our faith is dead. Our architecture, once the flowering of a living soul, is now sterile glass boxes. Our education systems produce not formed souls, but formatted operatives. Technics replaces art. Efficiency replaces destiny. Credentialism replaces wisdom. The machine world, Spengler says, is not a triumph, but a symptom, the beautiful corpse of a culture embalmed in technical systems. 3. Nietzsche, Against the Last Man and the Death of Art. Nietzsche saw it sooner and deeper than any other. The coming collapse into the last man, comfortable, sterile, shallow. In the absence of great striving, art becomes entertainment. Knowledge becomes information. Life becomes mere survival. Where once there was the tragic beauty of becoming, there is now the mechanical ugliness of optimization. Nietzsche understood that truth itself is not absolute, but a necessary illusion, useful fictions we create to live. Science, for all its claims of objectivity, is no exception. It, too, is an aesthetic phenomenon, born from the same instinct as myth and art. But modern science forgets this. It imagines itself neutral, cold, dead. Thus it becomes sterile. True life affirms becoming, not survival. True art affirms rhythm, not repetition. In a mechanized world, beauty decays into distraction, meaning decays into management. 4. Goethean science, rhythm, polarity, and metamorphosis. Goethe's scientific method stands in eternal opposition to modern efficiency. For Goethe, to understand nature is not to dissect it into dead parts, but to live into its rhythm, to witness its polar tensions, to participate in its metamorphosis. Nature reveals herself not through mechanical analysis, but through rhythmic intensification and transformation. The leaf unfolds into the flower. Light and darkness dance in polarity. Death is not failure, but necessary transformation. Thus Goethean science respects the mystery of nature. It bows before rhythm. It seeks participation, not domination. Modern science, obsessed with control, forgets this. It measures, optimizes, mechanizes, and kills. 5. The mystery of nature versus the machine. Modern physics, particularly in quantum mechanics, has not conquered the mystery of nature. It has only rationalized its inability to understand. Quantum theory was not born from foresight. It was born from crisis. Experimental anomalies forced desperate, theoretical inventions. Planck patched blackbody radiation. Einstein invoked photons to explain photoelectric effects. Bohr invented quantum jumps to match atomic spectra. Heisenberg surrendered to uncertainty. Each step was a retreat, a patch, a surrender. Thus, the machine hums, but the soul of nature remains hidden. We have built vast technical systems atop mysteries we cannot penetrate. We survive by maintenance, not by understanding. Science is not the triumph of reason. 5. The mystery of nature versus the machine. Modern physics, particularly in quantum mechanics, has not conquered the mystery of nature. It has only rationalized its inability to understand. Quantum theory was not born from foresight. It was born from crisis. Experimental anomalies forced desperate theoretical inventions. Planck patched blackbody radiation. Einstein invoked photons to explain photoelectric effects. Bohr invented quantum jumps to match atomic spectra. Heisenberg surrendered to uncertainty. Each step was a retreat, a patch, a surrender. Thus, the machine hums, but the soul of nature remains hidden. We have built vast technical systems atop mysteries we cannot penetrate. We survive by maintenance, not by understanding. Science is not the triumph of reason. It is the administration of miracles. 6. Reed Man and Technics, the Machine Man and the End of Becoming. The machine demands not just technical adaptation, but spiritual transformation. Man must become machine-compatible. The Reed Man, the formatted, procedural, rationalized man, is the necessary product of technical civilization. Emotion becomes disorder. Imagination becomes inefficiency. Wonder becomes impracticality. Thus man is trimmed, formatted, sterilized. He is credentialed, managed, optimized. No longer a creature of tragic becoming, man becomes a procedural operator in the vast Technics system. Reed Man is the bureaucratic soul of the machine world. 7. Technics and the future, collapse or rebirth. Can man survive Technics? Spengler would say no. The destiny is set. Civilizations die. Mechanization intensifies. Meaning collapses. Life decays into systems maintenance. Nietzsche would demand a transvaluation, a reawakening of life affirmation, even in the face of death. Goethe would urge a return to rhythmic participation, to rejoin the dance of nature, not as conqueror but as partner. Ellul warns that no policy, no plan can reverse technical momentum. Only a profound spiritual transformation, a renunciation of efficiency as the supreme good, could alter the course. Merlio shows that science is a priesthood trailing behind blind technical forces. Science cannot save us. Science does not lead. Thus the future under Technics is not progress. It is embalming. Unless, and this is the slender hope, a new life instinct awakens. A Goethean, Nietzschean, tragic affirmation of life against the death pull of efficiency. A life that chooses beauty over optimization. A life that chooses meaning over management. a life that embraces the rhythm of death and rebirth. 8. A vision beyond the machine. Imagine a future not ruled by autonomous technical systems, but by the rebirth of tragic becoming. Machines exist, but they serve the rhythm of life. Science exists, but it bows before wonder. Education exists, but it forms souls, not systems managers. Art exists, but it expresses the polarity of existence, not the neutrality of survival. In such a future, beauty, not efficiency, is the highest good. Participation, not control, is the highest science. Life, not maintenance, is the final purpose. It would not be a utopia. It would be a world of rhythm, tragedy, sacrifice, death, and rebirth, the living pulse of being restored. Final reflection. The last choice. We stand at the edge, to live as machinery, maintained by procedure, or to die as living beings, flowering once more in tragic beauty. The machine offers immortality without life. Nature offers life crowned with death, death crowned with renewal. Goethe, Ellul, Spengler, Nietzsche, and Merlio together whisper, choose the flower, choose the rhythm, choose life's dance, even unto death. For in the end, the machine is not life perfected, it is life embalmed. And the soul of man was made for becoming, not for maintenance. 9. The false salvation of efficiency. Efficiency, the idol of the technical age, presents itself as salvation. Every inefficiency is treated as a sin against survival. Every friction is seen as a failure. Every slowness, every complexity, every beauty not optimized toward output is interpreted as waste. Thus, society rearranges itself according to efficiency's demands. Education teaches skills, not souls. Medicine treats bodies, not beings. Art is monetized into marketing. Philosophy collapses into utilitarian social science. Efficiency demands standardization, predictability, and minimization of complexity. Yet life's greatness lies precisely in its waste, its unpredictability, its tragic overproduction of form. Goethe's plant unfolds through wasteful beauty. Thousands of blossoms, most destined to die. Spengler's youth phase of a culture bursts forth with uncontrolled, passionate creation. Nietzsche's higher man wastes himself in dangerous striving. In contrast, technical civilization eliminates risk, standardizes excellence into mediocrity, and crushes spirit into procedure. Thus, efficiency is not a triumph. It is a funeral. A civilization governed by efficiency alone is a civilization embalmed before death. 10. Bureaucracy, the administrative machine. Bureaucracy is the priesthood of efficiency. Every living function must be converted into a form, a rule, a regulation, a category, an audit. In the bureaucratic world, birth, death, marriage, education, love, travel, work, all must be recorded, standardized, certified. Every exception is a crisis. Every unique being must be filed into a predefined box. Spengler saw bureaucracy as the inevitable crystallization of a dead culture. Ellul saw it as the technical necessity of administering mass society. In bureaucratic life, souls are irrelevant. Context is irrelevant. Only compliance matters. Thus, bureaucracy is not merely inefficient. It is anti-life. It erases the living, rhythmic, polar tensions that give life its tragic dignity. 11th Credentialism and the death of organic learning. In the world of technics, education loses its formative purpose. True education, the formation of character, the cultivation of wisdom, the tragic apprenticeship to life, is replaced by credentialism. Credentialism is measurement without meaning, accreditation without formation, standardized validation of standardized skills. A Goethean or Nietzschean education would forge individuals into becoming higher, riskier, tragic beings. A technical education forges workers into functionaries. Thus, originality becomes danger, insight becomes impracticality, genius becomes inefficiency. Ellul and Merlio show that modern education does not create men. It creates machine-compatible agents. Thus, credentialism embalms the human soul before it ever awakens. 12. The artificial agency of surrogate activities. Ellul, Nietzsche, and Spengler all foresaw this. When true becoming is denied, when art, war, exploration, spirit, and tragedy are erased, man seeks false agency. Thus arises the flood of surrogate activities, hobbies, professional sports, fanaticism, collecting meaningless certificates, cosmetic self-improvement without soul. Surrogate activities provide the illusion of agency, but they do not restore becoming. Real agency requires real risk, real tragedy, real death, and rebirth. Thus, a man builds model airplanes instead of daring the unknown. A man collects degrees instead of creating. A man climbs corporate ladders instead of mountains. In a dead culture, life's hunger expresses itself in sterile rituals. Man dances around the grave he refuses to acknowledge. 13. Mystery, not mastery. Modern science prides itself on mastery. Mastery of matter, mastery of energy, mastery of information. Goethe always knew, nature is not a machine to be conquered. She is a living mystery to be participated in. True knowledge is not control. True knowledge is living with tension, with polarity, with rhythmic mystery. Thus, measurement is not knowing. Prediction is not wisdom. Calculation is not insight. Modern science builds temples of measurement atop graves of forgotten wonder. Thus the machine gives the illusion of mastery. Only the soul can live mystery. 14th. Technics, as inevitable but not supreme Ellul, showed that technics evolves according to its own internal laws. No moral, political, or religious system can prevent a technique, once discovered, from being used. Thus the rise of technics is inevitable, but inevitability does not mean supremacy. The machine will continue, bureaucracy will continue, credentialism will continue, optimization will continue. Yet life's secret is not to win. Life's secret is to become. Thus, even in the mechanical grave, becoming can still flicker. The tragic spirit can still bloom. The last